friends. I'm Diamond Ballet, and this is my best friend, Brittany Daisy.
What up, though? You are listening to the Good Girls Wild Thoughts podcast.
Hey, yes, yes, yes. So, this is a part where we give you the good girl devotion. This is just a disclaimer that, hey, we are good girls and we have some wild thoughts, child, okay?
All right, now before we escape into the wild, we just want to make sure this is a judgment free zone, right?
Because God hears all, He sees all, and guess what? He forgives all.
All right, so we just want to make sure that we are on one accord. We good? All right? Amen.
Amen.
Hi,
Hey,
friend.
friend. How you doing? As a member
I
of
am very good. I feel really good. Spring
Mhm.
is springing. It's doing what
Yes.
it's supposed to do to lift my spirits.
Yes. I'm so grateful for spring. I got my little peachy on. So
Okay, a little coral going on.
yeah, Daisy is solid. So she come with the correction.
And that's what you got to know.
Y'all don't see her if you watching this. She's sitting over here with this Summer Miami top though. It's giving I got a bunch of dollars I'm gonna spend on her.
It's giving vintage, and I can put anything together. That's what it's giving.
Come on, summer in Miami. That's where we need to go this summer. Like,
Can I just take a quick little trip, please?
yes, I need a refresher, a
I do
restart.
too.
So I guess that's how I'm feeling today. Like,
You need a
I'm
refresher.
it's beautiful, it's springing, but I am ready to see somebody else's sun and probably
Hmm.
French too.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
So let's get into this chatty patty time. You ready?
Let's go.
Chatty patty, chatty patty, chatty patty, chatty patty time.
All right. Before we get into Chatty Patty, I just want everybody to know that I am counting down the weeks of April so we can get rid of Diamond's Chatty Patty song. Y'all know we agreed that she could sing it for the month of April, but I'm ready for it to be behind us. So,
Girl,
you know what?
with it.
No,
But
this is what I'm going to do. I am going to make a poll in our Insta story this week.
mhm.
And I need our listeners to choose whose Chatty Patty song you prefer.
So you wanna get served. You want to
Yeah,
battle.
I'm trying to a little dance battle. Taking it back. So yes, I'm gonna put a poll on our Instagram. If you don't follow us on Instagram, you should. But if you
Mhm.
don't have Instagram, you can leave your vote in the comment section on YouTube.
Clearly, we would love
Okay.
that. I actually do
Yeah.
love that. I would love to see what y'all come up with and who y'all vote for. But if you don't know the version of Chatty Patty song that Daisy does, guess what? You can listen to the rest of the old episodes of our
All
podcast
right.
and
You gotta
share it with
dig
somebody.
through. Dig through the episodes and see which one I had. Okay.
Here's a hint. Just look at the March episodes if you want to know. So,
I don't think I did. Oh, I guess I did do it for all of them, right? Maybe. I don't know. But yeah,
mhm.
y'all got to watch them. Y'all got to find out what's my version of Chatty Patty versus Diamonds, and please vote. We want your
We need
participation.
your votes. Yes. So what
All
we
right.
talking about today? What you got on your
Yeah. Okay. So y'all know this is my favorite episode. I love to chat it up with my bestie.
mind?
So today we are talking about something that both of us enjoy so much,
What do we enjoy?
and that is a good TV series.
We love TV.
Yes. We love a good show. And
Hmm.
this one, not only was it just an amazing series, but it was with both of our favorites, our
Yeah.
homegirl, Kerry Washington.
I love Carrie. Yes, we
Yes,
do. Shouts out to Carrie Washington. She is like chef's kiss. Okay,
chef's kiss.
all around.
Okay. I mean, everything. I mean, I'm talking
Everything
about,
is
I'm
delicious.
going all the way back because my favorite movie of all times, and listen here, I don't want no disrespect in the comment section.
Yeah.
My favorite movie ever is Save the Last Dance. Okay.
Baby Last Dance used to be one of my favorite movies for show.
Oh
For
my gosh.
sure.
Me and my cousins
Her little
have such.
accent too. Like she Nikki. What? Go ahead. Go ahead. Remember her little accent she had? Go
Yes.
ahead.
She said, "Mama, this show ain't Mama Dean, baby."
Right. You ain't seen the sun, but go ahead. We can go on because
We can
Carrie.
go on and on. Okay, yes, we might have to have a just an honorary episode quoting
The
lines from Save the
homage.
Last
Uh-huh.
Dance.
Yeah.
But So our homegirl Kerry Washington has a new show on Hulu
Which
called
one?
Unprisoned.
Because we saw Reasonable Doubt.
Reasonable Doubt.
But then
Yeah.
remember the collaboration that she did with Reese Witherspoon? What's that? Firehouse, Little
Oh,
Fires
Little
Everywhere.
Fires Everywhere. Yes.
Oh my goodness! Now that was delicious. But Unprisoned, let's go there.
Yes,
Let's.
Unprisoned. I have been waiting for you to finish it
Oh,
because I was just so ready to talk about it. Oh my
okay.
gosh. So, without giving the details of the show, I just want to highlight what stood out to me.
Hmm.
So in the show, Carrie, uh, her younger self appears in various
Hmm.
parts of the episodes when she's experiencing an intense moment or a lesson. A younger version of her shows up and kind of walks through the experience with her, gives her reactions as her child self, and they do this thing where they're communicating. Obviously, nobody else can see this younger version of
Hmm.
her, and it's just a true reflection of where she was versus where she is now.
Yeah.
What I love so much about it is that to me, it was like a process of healing her inner child, right?
Mm.
But I don't think Carrie's character realized that it was healing until the very end of the show. And so
Mm.
throughout the other episodes, it was really just like her nurturing and honoring the inner child of her, the younger version of herself.
Hmm.
And I just thought that was such a good concept and aspect to the show because in real life, so many times we react, we behave, and we just maneuver through life
Yeah.
coming from a wounded child or,
Yeah.
just the experiences that we
Traumatized.
had at a
Yeah.
young age.
Yeah. And then
Um,
that young age be needing the attention. It needs the healing. Because one of the things you said to you is like, her the older character of her that she was playing realized, oh, that younger child needed it. And I think for
mhm.
many of us, we not recognizing like what the younger child needs: protection,
Yeah,
validation, restoration. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that our childhood probably lacked, you know what I mean? Like, even if you had the best of childhood, right? Like, I had a good childhood, both parents, da, 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 I feel like there's still something our adult selves can go back and give that child, you know what I mean?
yes.
And I think
Hmm.
that was the beauty of the episode, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, pausing, because I think in the episodes it was like pausing, taking moments of that
Hmm.
dynamic to be seen and see
Yeah,
the position of what it looks like to heal that inner child, or give that inner child some validation or
exactly.
understanding. That's the other thing too. It was like, ooh, there were some moments where it's like this child needs some understanding of like
Yeah,
why this was the way it was, or
exactly.
why this happened the way it happened. You know what I mean? And then like forgiving that circumstance and situation, because I think her older character was like forgiving in some of those spaces.
And
And
the
then
younger child wasn't.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
where she got that understanding, and then her older self also navigated differently with those people in her life once the inner child got what it needed. And I think
Exactly.
that's the highlight where it's like, ooh, like sometimes our adult selves is not as our best selves because it's still something the younger child needs
Exactly.
from us, not from
Mm.
everybody else, not external people. That younger child be needing something from you specifically before you can be
Right.
the kind of adult that you want to be to everybody else: forgiving, likable, loving, whatever the case may be, attention.
Yeah.
Like our inner child be screaming for us sometimes. So that was the beauty like of that, and I got so
Mhm.
much else from that episode, but like we said, we're not trying to give it away. So I won't talk about all of my things. We can stay on this topic because
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
oh,
mean,
this part.
clearly we have to have a whole Kerry Washington episode. Like
Yeah,
we need to talk
like
about all the shows.
yeah, whatever her anniversary of being in the business or her birthday, we're gonna have to do it then. If
Yeah,
we get
yeah.
an Emmy for these shows, we're gonna have to do it then. Like I hope she does.
Mhm.
Like, shout out
Yeah.
to you, Carrie. I hope you get an Emmy like for these shows because sis, you're in your bag. Like, ooh, her aesthetics of this show. Like I like the font of the writing when the show first come on.
Mhm.
um, at the beginning, it's like a truly something. It's like true story. You know
Yeah.
how the true
Yeah,
story
yeah.
like is an additional part of it. I was like, I
Oh,
love
I
that,
didn't even think about those details.
girl. It's like those details, even the song choices. It's
Yeah.
my favorite. Oh, no, no. That is like Oh, that makes my heart throb. Like that song, you
Mhm.
never so tell you. It was very like nostalgic. Like as soon as you cut the show on, it's just like, dang, what we about to get? Like I'm so intrigued and drawn in. Like, okay, what they know about this song? Like, okay, like it makes me
Yeah.
want more of the show. But the
Right.
font, the music, the color patterns, you know what I mean? The
No,
name
I agree.
like I loved everything. So that's all I'm gonna say about my part. But I loved Unprison. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked
Yeah, so I mean, I guess also it that part stood out to me just because my birthday is approaching, so I'm thinking
it.
about just how I'm growing and maturing as an adult, you know? And
Mhm.
it was just it was so loud to me like what pieces, like what does your younger self need? Like how are you
Mhm.
uh reparenting and mothering the little girl inside of you that maybe didn't get all she needed or maybe has a certain perspective of life that has evolved and changed but is not we're not meeting in the middle just yet. So
Yeah.
I definitely want to do just a little more intentional work as my birthday approaches, just to kind of just really walk into this new year like confident and just ready. Oh, not my headscarf falling off, y'all.
You about to be like that one girl on that podcast.
This is live and in action, y'all.
When girl little Wiggy came on.
She said, "Oh my god."
Oh my God. Oh.
Look, I'm sitting here talking, and I was like, "Why does my ear feel warm? Like, what's
I'm looking
happening?"
at you like her head is growing bigger.
All right, we back. But yeah, in conclusion, thank you. Shout out to Unprisoned. It was an
Yeah.
amazing, and it has definitely challenged me to do some inner work.
Mm.
And I truly feel like I'm going to be a better woman from watching that show. I really
Yeah.
do.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome to create a work that make people feel like they can have a transformation in their life.
mm-hmm.
She dope. See, that's why we
For
like her.
real.
That's
Yeah.
why we like her. So let's get into this wild card. What kind of wild card we got this week? Did we get some, or do you have a thought? Like, what's going on?
So I have a thought.
Okay.
I went on a little weekend getaway last week to Austin, Texas. It was an amazing time. They were having South by Southwest, which is like a conference
Mm. I never.
event happening there. Yeah, so it was a really good experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, However, going there, I went into a store. So it was myself, Kevin, our cousins, friends. It was a group of us. We went into this higher end store, and it was my first experience of like experiencing like blatant racial profiling. Like it was just so
Mm.
obvious. Like I mean, literally, like following just steps behind us wherever we move. Somebody was there just being super attentive, and it was just a very uncomfortable situation.
Mm.
And so, ironically, there was a white woman that worked at the store who handled it very well after it was brought to her attention, because the people who were doing the racial profiling were men. But the woman, she handled it very well.
Mm. Thank God
Um,
for her.
So yeah, so thank God it turned out to be a good situation because we know situations can go left very quickly. But it also that moment brought me back to something that I experienced a few years ago when I was in a park in Livonia, Michigan,
Mm.
exercising, and I was essentially like ambushed by these police officers.
Mm.
Like they were like running towards me. Like I'm in the park. I was like just taking a walk. I sat down at the bench and I see these police officers running over to me. And they're like, accused it said that somebody had got their cell phone stolen and it looked like the one I had. Like, are you serious?
Boy, you did not see that from the street. You did not see that from your car. Because my phone could have been in my hand to my ears, sitting on the table. You did
Exactly.
what?
And
That
it's an
was
iPhone.
the excuse.
Like don't all iPhones look the same? Like I'm
But they
confused.
not
Like
seeing that from afar like that either, though. Like, bruh,
exactly.
that's the lamest excuse. But that's that
Right.
good old Michigan.
Exactly. So, but with that, it just made me, I had these thoughts of just like how oftentimes
Yeah.
Black women, Black people, we are unprotected, like in so many spaces, even in the spaces where you're doing just the most normal of activities,
Mm.
we
Mm.
are oftentimes not protected. And it just, it
Yeah.
really, it bothered me a little bit. And so
Yeah.
I just wanted to, I guess, one, express, because I think a lot of times we don't feel like we have the space to express our
Mhm.
hurt or our fear, or, just these moments that don't make us feel good being and living in the space where we should feel welcome, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So I guess I just wanted to share those feelings and, get your thoughts. Like, have you ever had an experience like that? Or how do you handle,
Yeah.
just these spaces where you obviously feel like an outsider?
Yeah, it saddens me. First, sorry, friend, that that happened to you.
Thank
You know,
you.
Livonia and in Texas. And then it just sucks. Things like that really hurts my heart. Because one, we have seen so much of innocent black shootings from police um,
Hmm.
over these years, and it's been the most gruesome, heartbreaking
For sure.
experience for us all to one discover it, to see it on social media, but then also like for you to live it is a
Hmm.
whole different another ball game, right? Like we already empathize with those that we saw go through it, but then to have your own experience
Right.
is another layer of just, uncomfortability, traumatization, whatever you
Hmm.
may feel, anxiety. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't think I've personally have had one. I think when I was younger, I remember again, Roseville, Michigan. Me and my mom was crossing the street, and Roseville, if you all don't know, is predominantly white. And we were crossing the street, and the car was zooming by. Go home, NIGGA, and like threw up the finger. But I was a
Hmm.
younger girl at that point, and I didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
And so that was my only experience I can recall in this moment. But as an adult, no. Like sometimes you
Okay.
just have like matter of fact, I'm lying. I'm thinking of another one too. Again, Livonia, Michigan. I didn't live too far from there, and there was a dance school, and I went to go, just check it out and try to enroll my daughter.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, with an accent at that. Oh, like country. Girl, we in Livonia. Oh, the school for the color girls. You might want to go to Southfield. That's what she told me.
Are you serious?
Think I was oblivious to that situation in that moment because I was like, why is she saying color girls? Like, what is she talking about? And I started looking around the room like all their girls were, young white girls. But she said, if you
Are
look at
you kidding me?
that is what she said. And every
Wow.
5, 6, she wasn't with me at that time. I just went in. Like, oh, I just want to know more information about this school. Da, 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 da. I mean, if you're looking for the color girls, that school is down the street in Southfield. And when they say Southfield, you already know that's where our people at.
Exactly.
Caliber of our people. So, yeah, those
Wow.
events are not fun. They are unprecedented because who
Hmm.
plan on being profiled by their skin? And then I just think this whole like race thing, it is the most dumbest thing that they created. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day is where we all have commonality. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Even me personally, Daisy, like I be trying to figure out like, do I judge people by their skin color? You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I don't think I do. Whether we're
Yeah.
the same, community or whether we outside, like I don't really like. There's nothing about someone else's skin color that angers me so
That
bad.
angers you.
I have
Yeah.
to be unkind to you. And so a lot of our men and our women, black men and black women, and both of color, I just sympathize for.
Hmm.
Like I dislike that we don't have a lot of places where we can feel safe. I mean, i.e. America. And
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
traveled many places outside the country yet to have a different experience yet, but I just strongly dislike that here in America, black people are made to be unsafe. And the only time that you don't feel unsafe or protected is when you code switch a little bit.
Yeah.
Even
Exactly.
then, like you still not really safe.
Even then.
That
Hmm.
bothers me. Like I really don't like it. So I guess, with these thoughts, it's like I would like to hear our listeners chime in. Like,
Yeah.
what can we do, to make sure we are protected or feel more protected? Is it when I see another black person in a predominantly white space? Do I make sure we get that eye contact and we know we got each other? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Hmm.
I feel like it's probably not enough language and conversation going on in those public places with black people where we could be there for each other.
Yeah,
Um that's just one idea that I have of how else can we feel protected.
for
What other
sure.
way could we bring in this covering that's needed
Hmm.
when we are up against being unwanted or
Right.
out because the color of our skin. It's like,
That's
I
true.
don't know,
Yeah.
some of our audience actually chime in on this wild card.
Yeah, I would too, honestly. And again, wild cards are about opening and starting the conversations. Obviously, this is not a new conversation,
Yeah,
but like we really do want to hear from you. If you have
yeah.
experiences, if you have, suggestions or solutions, remedies,
How you
to make these situations more comfortable or more manageable, please
yeah.
share, honestly. We're black women, we're raising black children, we have black husbands, and
Hmm.
people that we love and care for so much, so deeply, and we
Yeah.
want all of us to live and thrive in in a comfortable environment. So definitely chime in, please. DMs, comments, all of
Yeah.
that good stuff.
Let's
um
get into some good girl conversation.
where did this song come from?
I know.
Yes, let's get into some good girl conversation. What we talking
So let me take a sip. I don't know if this one is heavy or not. Okay.
about? Okay.
So y'all know Daisy and I are besties, and we always are giving ourselves challenges. I don't know if y'all heard our last episode, but our guest was like, "Y'all just gave yourselves an assignment," and
She
so
did. She did.
we're always giving ourselves something to do, and it's
Yeah.
always on the lines of healing and rectifying
Hmm.
and nurturing ourselves or healing the inner child, like we just discussed. And so this particular assignment that we gave ourselves, I discovered, everyone, that fear is holding me back. Yes.
Hmm.
Fear is something I deal with. Yes. But in that fear, the underlining of my fear in life is inadequacy
We talked about that.
and not feeling enough. So I'll end this good girl conversation. I wanted to talk to the listeners and with you that we can deeper dive into where does inadequacy and not enoughness come from,
Mm.
because I think what I am learning every day, I'm like, Lord, but you gave me authority and you put a dominion in me. I got the power. So where does this cripplingness of not feeling
Right.
enough and powerlessness come from? Like, again, I guess Chatty Patty was so on point for us. Does it go back to the younger child, the inner child, or does it
Hmm.
go into our, younger 20s when you off into so many different things and you let people's opinions, kind of shape you a little bit? Does it come from there? So, what is your thoughts, one, about inadequacy, and do you feel like enoughness is your if you choose to share, or just what is your thoughts about inadequacy and
Yeah.
enoughness? Where does that come from? Why does it take our
Um, right. So I think, like you said, I think it comes from all of those places. It can come from childhood, how you were raised. I think a lot of us, we were raised by people who raised us out of circumstance. Like they were
Mhm.
focused on the circumstance at hand, the situation, and
Mhm.
solving those problems, which it's nothing wrong with that.
Correct.
But in the midst of that, the nurturing part, the tending of the garden can kind of be overlooked because we're in emergency. Like we got to do this. I'm a
Survivor
single
mode,
mom.
yeah.
Like we got things to do. I got to go to work. You got to go to school. We're on this tight schedule. I got to make
Mhm.
ends meet. Like there's a lot of things that just happen out of natural circumstance, and so that the tender loving part can sometimes be overlooked. So I think it starts there. And then, like you said, in your 20s, comparing yourself to others and, just especially now with social media, we have this space where we are constantly comparing ourselves, or it's the
Yeah,
platform to do so. Like
yeah,
you are
yeah,
literally watching other people's lives, how they look, how they dress,
yeah,
what they can afford, their relationship, all of these things that in some way or another can naturally just make you question who you are, what stage of life you're in, and sometimes it can make you not feel so good.
yeah.
I think that the more uh popular word now is imposter syndrome, like
Yeah,
where
that
we're
is
just
popular
like,
today.
oh,
Yeah,
am
yeah,
I enough for this space? Do I fit in? Even when you have the proof, when you have the degrees, you have the experience, you got the qualifications, it's still like this voice telling you to question yourself,
yeah,
And so I definitely think it's a gradual thing that grows, unfortunately, I think it grows as we get older, but the remedy, I think, is just truly, truly knowing the power that you possess, knowing
mhm,
the power that you possess, where that power comes from,
yeah.
and how to use it in the most efficient way.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing as I hear you talk is like, okay, so the underlining of an inadequacy or enoughness is not really knowing fully who you are or your capability of who you are, your skill set and your gifts. Like
Hmm.
it sounds like when you don't know those things or when those things are not made clear, and I don't think they will be made clear like at this point in my life, I know I'm
Yeah.
this, that, da, 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 da. Like it's a continuum. Like that's the beauty
Hmm.
of living, right? Like you get to keep learning, you know? But it's
Yeah.
not like when you don't know or understand those things. Or I think when we was doing the homework, is like when you don't believe in those things.
That was going to be my next statement.
Ah, yeah, belief is the key of
Believe. Yeah, like, because we can know a thing, right?
like,
Like,
mhm.
but do we wholeheartedly believe in that thing? Like, do we have faith
Yeah,
to stand on that? This
yeah.
is solid ground, this is fact, and is unmovable.
Yeah. So belief in who you are, what you possess, and that you can do a
Mm.
thing is like necessary for your enoughness.
Yeah. So I think we often hear people say like, "Oh, you have everything you need right inside you." Like you
Mm.
already have it.
Yeah.
And I think I can speak for myself. That's something that for a long time I didn't wholeheartedly believe. Like it's something you hear, and so it sounds good. I would like to deeply believe that, but it's like, do I really embody the faith behind
Mhm.
this to really believe that I have everything within inside? Like all the power within me is exactly what I need, and so that's something that I'm currently working on.
Me too. Me too.
I do want to share something from a book that I'm
Yeah.
reading. So I'm currently reading the lost books of the Bible and the
Mm.
forgotten books of Eden.
Ooh, come
And
on.
it
That
is,
sounds juicy.
and when I tell you, it is just mind blowing,
Okay.
life transforming, and I mean, it's doing all the things.
Okay.
But there's a small verse in there which goes into further detail. It's from the book is called The Secrets of, well, the chapter is The Secrets of Enoch.
Okay.
And it's basically retelling the story of Genesis when God
Mhm.
created the earth and all of that part of the first 6 days. But
Mhm.
it goes into further detail. And
Mhm.
so it was just, I mean, mind blowing to me because from what we are taught, it's like God breathed his breath, breathed the life into us. And that's how Adam was to be, right? But
Right.
this goes into details talking about the intricate parts of how human
Mhm.
life became. And when I
Intricate.
read it, that was the light bulb, like, oh, all of the power, like, is literally from within inside me. So I just
Yeah.
want to read it quickly just to kind of, because it's too good to not share.
Okay.
All right, so it's again from the Forgotten Books of Eden, and the chapter is called Secrets of Enoch. And so it says, on the sixth day, I commanded my wisdom to create man from seven consistencies: one, his flesh from the earth;
Mhm.
two, his blood from the dew; three, his eyes from the sun; four, his bones from stone; five, his intelligence from the swiftness of the angels
Mm.
and from cloud; six, his veins and his hair from the grass of the earth; seven, his soul from my breath and from the wind. And then it goes to say, and I gave him seven natures: to the flesh, hearing; to the eyes, for sight; to the soul, smell; the veins for touch; the blood for taste, the bones for endurance, to the intelligence, sweetness, and enjoyment.
Oof. Wow. Literally everything. You
Literally everything.
everything you need.
And it's just like, wow, like we hear like, oh, God formed you and knew you while before you were in your mother's womb. But it's like, it's so specific and so strategic on how he created us, like
Yeah.
literally giving us all of the consistencies and capabilities from when we were created.
Yeah. Um, he gave us all of these things. And I
Hmm.
feel like even with you reading that, I embody it. I embrace it. I'm like, thank you, Lord. But I feel like what has been the struggle in like freeing from fear and freeing from not enoughness is like thinking I need permission to embody everything you just read that the Lord already put in me.
Yeah. Oh, yes. You
You
don't
know,
need
like
permission. It's already there. It's
right,
mine.
the
I own.
belief
I
is the
own
issue, and then permission is the issue. Thinking, well, God, can I do this?
it.
Or not even just God, because sometimes we don't even ask Him, you know, can I do this?
World outside.
Correct,
Is this
correct.
okay? I don't know. Are other people doing it? It's not trendy. It seemed a little off. Like, am I
Mm,
allowed to be everything that I know I'm created to be? Even,
mm,
because it looks different from what I see. Because it
mm,
looks different from what I'm used to and how I was raised. Am I allowed to be myself in the fullness of who I am? You
mm.
know?
And it's like, relax. Like, you already have permission. I just need you to believe it and do it.
Mm,
You know, like I've already given you everything you need. You are one with this earth. Like I use what I created to make you so you can sustain here, even though I'm
yeah.
not here. When you look to the trees, when you look to the sun, when you moving as swift and catching on as quick, understand that intelligence came from heaven.
And
And
it's
I said that
specific. It's intentional.
it's intentional because why? I gave you authority over this earth. What I created, my child, like I gave
Hmm.
you authority over that. So why are you asking permission for it to work for you?
Yeah.
Tell it what you want it to do and believe that it is done, you know?
Hmm.
And I'm getting that as we're talking, and we did our work too. It's like, man, Lord, free me from thinking I need permission and free me from unbelief of what's really in me. Because truly,
Yeah.
what you just read is like the power is really within us, and we have authority and dominion over everything,
Everything, every single thing.
all of it. Even down, like, God is so gorgeous. He like, yeah, your hair. I made that with the bushes though. It looked like the bushes. No,
And you
that's like the sun though.
yeah,
Look how powerful those things are. The sun gives what? Energy.
energy.
It creates food. It makes things grow. And if
And
my
it
eyes
says,
are to be like that, oh my God, that means my visions are greater.
mm-hmm. And it says, what bones for endurance. Like, so even
Yeah.
going back to a few episodes when we talked about taking care of ourselves,
Uh-huh.
like that's not just a good idea, like it's not like, oh yeah, I think you might want to try that. No, it's
Yeah.
like he gave us these bones for endurance, so take care of them, nurture it, like, and it's going to produce exactly what it needs to produce. I mean, again, every little piece, I was just thinking, I was connecting it to the dots of my real life,
Yeah.
even my hair. I have locks now, and it's easy to like kind of forget about your hair just going day by day, because it's so carefree, it's low maintenance. And so every time I walk down my stairs, that's where I have plants. Every time I walk past my plants or I'm watering my plants, it instantly triggers my memory to water my hair. I promise. And this was
Mm.
before I
I
read
didn't
this.
know you had it.
This says that he gave us what hair from the grass of the earth. And so before I read this, it was like an innate thing in me to be reminded when I water my plants and it grows, I need to water my hair in that same manner. And
Mhm.
so it's like without knowledge of this, it was already within me to know what to do, like Oh, I need to
Yeah.
water my hair like I water the grass. That's how my locks are going to grow. That's how they need that hydration to thrive,
Mm.
you know? And so I just think it's so dope, just how we are just so
Intertwine.
equipped and
Yeah,
capable.
yeah. So that made me pose the question. Okay, so if the tangible execution or the external execution of you watering your plants reminded you to nurture your hair so it then can grow, which that he already put in you for hair to grow, to be long,
Mhm,
luxurious, be your crown, right? So it posed the question for me, to you, to the audience members, and as I'm still working through being delivered from this space, it's like, okay, so how do I, what is my external
mhm.
daily demonstration to nurture the power that is within me?
Right, mhm, mhm.
What is it that can be done to restore enoughness and to
Right.
ignite power, authority, and dominion within yourself?
Mhm.
Only things
Well
I know about my homegirl, she's a word of faith speaking woman. Like I love her. And so she does confessions, which where
mhm,
she remind herself of the word. So if she's lacking in the area, she finds scriptures that then tells her the truth about those areas, and then she writes out a confession to the Lord saying, "Hey God, this is what your word says," and then she calls it in and speak it as if it already is. So
yeah,
that's what
yeah.
she does, and she taught me that. So I do those, but I don't know if I'm doing them enough. But is there other external ways, such as you going down your stairwell and I water my plant? Oh yeah, let me reignite my own power. Let me
Mm,
reignite my own growth. Like, what comes to mind for you? Any listeners, if you're listening, you got a response. Make sure you comment.
yeah. I mean, I think again, since yours is more like that internal belief, I think what you
Mhm.
said, I think is those the words. We know words have
Mhm.
power, right? So I think
Mhm.
it's constantly feeding yourself good words, good thoughts,
Wow. Yeah, to change the
going
mindset. Yeah.
going back to Chatty Patty, healing the inner child, talking to her, like
Mhm.
re-raising her up to believe wholeheartedly what you say, like what
That's
the
what I
word says, what you think and believe about yourself. Like I think it's a transformative process,
Yeah. Yeah.
So mine is more like an instant thing, like, okay, oh, plants, go water my hair, but even that I still have to watch it grow. So I think with you is literally constantly reminding yourself, and I think you and a lot of other people, like we can get caught in our head. We stuck in our head,
Yeah.
replaying events or, thinking of
Yep,
scenarios
that's me
happening.
overthinking.
So I think the remedy is to combat that, like to stop it in its track and feed yourself the good
Yeah.
thoughts, feed yourself the affirmations and the confessions and the word of God that God does not lie, So if you have a scripture and a promise that correlates to what you're experiencing or the thoughts, then we have to learn to build that confidence that the word cannot return void. Like, so it's no need
Yeah.
to worry about the if or the and, because we can stand on God's word. We can stand on his word, and because he has created us so intentionally,
Yeah.
power is already within you. So we don't need anything outside of that. It's just
Mhm.
about the training of it, the endurance,
Ooh,
like the
yeah, yeah,
endurance and building up that strength and that belief that at some point it's going to be automatic. But I
yeah.
remember you had we were talking about a situation with your daughter, and you had
Mhm.
said that you were going to read her that poem about
Mhm.
our greatest fear or something.
Oh.
Our greatest fear is that we are inadequate or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Remember
Okay,
us
okay. Okay, yeah.
pull that
Nope.
up?
Yep, 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 yep. Um, so it's a lot that you said. Hold on. My brain is thinking.
No. But
So
as I
what
was
I got,
talking, I thought
yeah,
about you giving that lesson to your daughter, and I'm like, oh, I think it's appropriate for right now.
yeah, it is appropriate for now, and maybe as a valley quote too, to leave with the people, because the poem that she's speaking of is called Our Deepest Fear. It really did bless me, and it's something I want my daughter to learn, so
Yeah.
that again, even if you have the perfect life, like we talked about in Chatty Patty, you're still gonna have inner child stuff, right?
Mm,
Like it's still gonna be stuff, but I would like to like pour this into her. But as Daisy was talking, it's like the lessons that I'm hearing as you were saying what you were saying, it's just like, okay, The steps to being free from fear and inadequacy is like, one, know that you do not need permission to be who you truly need to be.
Mhm.
No. Two is like, stand on the promises or the goodness or the words that change your unbelief,
Yeah.
to believing. And then three is like, build the confidence. And that
Mhm.
is a practice such as your watering of your plant. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's how you get your hair to grow, by watering it. So we have to build the confidence. And
Come on,
so
strategy.
yeah, like that's what I heard. So if we're going into our valley quote, you want me to
Yeah,
start?
let's just go ahead and
So my
do it.
valley quote for you guys today, and even for myself, is called our deepest fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us.
Mm.
We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other permission to do the same.
Mm.
We're liberated from our own fear. Our presence automatically liberates others.
Wow.
That's so good.
That's so good. That's such a good reminder. And
Yeah.
I mean that's so on point. Like every line is
Every line.
is exactly what happened.
You're powerful beyond measure.
Hmm. And it's
What?
like, and who are you to not think these things? Like
Yeah.
what?
We shine as children do. And if I'm a child of God, that means I shine forever. Even in my adulthood. Hello?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Even
And
more so because I'm wiser, I'm stronger.
yeah,
like so I
it's
have
so
the ability
radiant.
to shine even greater.
Yeah, like it's just so many gems in that one passage. Like you're shrinking because you feel others are insecure around you. That's none of your business. All you can do, what the rest of the poem said, is be who you are, and then you give permissions to others to be
To do
liberated, just
the
as you are, you
same. Hmm.
know? And that,
No, I think that was a good line. I often think about sharing testimonies,
okay,
and that it goes right along with it. Like
okay.
your testimony, your experience is not just for you, but it is to liberate others.
Yeah.
It's to induce deliverance for
Ooh,
others.
come on, induce. That's the doula in her talking, y'all.
you know. But for real, like that's literally what it's for. Like our experiences are not just our own.
Okay.
And especially if you're a believer and you believe that you are called and that you have this great power within you and this purpose to water the seed or to nurture the seeds or whatever, like this is what it's about. Like there cannot be any fear, there cannot be any imposter syndrome if we have an assignment to fulfill, not just
Ooh,
for ourselves but to
wow.
liberate others.
I mean, I think you just saying that there cannot be any fear or imposter syndrome when you have an assignment. I think we just identified that, yo, when you having imposter syndrome and when you having fear, something else is on assignment with you
Hmm.
to block what you should be doing. Because every time you do something in freedom and faith and without imposter syndrome, with confidence, you know what I mean? You're liberating someone else.
Yeah, that's
Like it's
good.
inevitable, right? Like when you're operating just in faith, confidence, and just in your power, you automatically liberate someone else.
Hmm.
I think you just identify, like, if you're struggling with that, me, Diamond, I struggle. I'm no longer struggling with fear, but it
Right.
has been a struggle of mine. That was an assignment on your life, baby.
Hmm.
you're doing this podcast and all the other things that you do, teaching your students and dancing and da, 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 da. Oh, you liberating people. And he don't like that.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
don't like that. So if you're finding yourself dwelling and waddling and not being confident, imposter syndrome, fear and inadequacy and not enoughness, that is an assignment on you.
Hmm.
And newsflash, you have an assignment.
You have the assignment to combat it.
Correct.
Hmm.
That's good. Do you have
All
a
right. I don't have a valley quote. I think that was more than enough for both of
that
us.
is?
Uh,
I just want to relish it. I'm like, girl, sit,
yeah, yeah, no.
sit here.
That was more than enough. That was so powerful. So
Man,
thank
so
you for
if
reading
you
that.
enjoy the good girl conversation, again, we are just conversation starters. We're not coming off as experts, but people who are living through it and progressing and just want to be better, healed, and whole.
Freedom
Comment.
conversation.
Yeah, freedom conversations. Freedom conversations is what we do. It's who we are. It is our bread and butter. Is our gut and goal. That's what I
Hmm.
say. Freedom conversations are gut and goal. So please like, comment, share, and again, like Daisy said, put your wild cards in if you have, any thoughts such as this or vulnerabilities that you're willing to share. Again, this is a safe space for women of faith and belief. So the good girl tidings is that you can see us on YouTube at GGWT Podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Good Girls Wild Thoughts. And you can listen to this podcast on audio in the car with your homegirls, escaping to the wild at
Escape to the wild.
Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure y'all be on the lookout, but we will love your comments, likes, and shares with your people. And Daisy, let the people know what?
Yes, yes. Don't forget, when you fully submit yourself to God, you will be your most authentic self. Stay
Stay
consecrated.